category of things you can do, because you can do cam girl shit on OnlyFans. You can run a live feed and do whatever it is you want to do on there. But there's some people who just, like me, for me, my main source of income was, like, I make customs. So people,
what are customs?
People order shit from me, so they'll be like, I want this, this, and this, and this. And I'm like, okay, it's going to take me this much time. It's going to cost you this much money. I'm like, we can, like, if you want to change something to make it cheaper, we can, because, like, I'm not exactly the most inexpensive individual when it comes to that. When I do customs, because I don't have a lot of time. I do a lot of shit. So I'm like, I can do this for you. Just going to cost. And some people are 100% fucking willing to pay a lot of money for some really weird shit. So
customs, like, what are we custom, like, burlesque attire?
No.
Oh. No. Okay, I wasn't sure you were saying customs, and I'm like, what?
Sir,
what are we talking about?
No. Not like burlesque
we're gonna
attire.
Go in. Custom.
Customs, like sex work customs, like shit you find on Pornhub.
I don't know what that still is.
I don't know how to explain this. Is this a PG-13 podcast?
No, this is rated R. This podcast is R.
Okay,
for sure.
good.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want to say.
So it's like someone could message me and they're like, I want you to play with your titties. And I'm like, all right, cool. I can do that. How long? What exactly are you looking for? Like,
like custom requests.
Yes.
For you to do things.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought that was explanatory.
No, I thought you were making things like a craft OnlyFans, and I was like, okay, like
that is a thing though, but no.
Okay, glad I asked, because I was like, what? Like, custom? Are you making clothing? Like, what are we doing here?
Nope. Just making porn exclusively for certain people.
Okay.
But there's, like, barriers with that, because I don't do certain things, like, because it's just not within my comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
So if some people ask for shit, then I'm like,
not happening.
Fuck no. I'm like, and I mean, I'm not rude about it. I'm just like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. That's not within my boundary. I could do this, this, and this, but I will not do that. Some people are like, well, what the fuck is the point of you having an OnlyFans? I'm like, what the fuck? Get out! And then I block them, because I'm like, I'm not gonna deal with that shit. I'm like, if there's ever, like, a potential sex worker listening to this podcast, you don't deal with that shit. You just don't, because those people are exhausting. They will drain you of all your energy, and it is very tiring. So I fucking hate people like that. I really do, because people don't have respect for sex workers. Still.
Yeah, and I'm sure you get a lot of those.
God, I can divulge into one story. I will try to keep it as brief as possible.
Oh, no. Okay, let's hear it.
So I had this dude, and he was sliding. So most of the time, people go through my OnlyFans, or they go to my premium Snap. Like, I'll move the people from OnlyFans onto the premium Snap, where I'm not posting on OnlyFans, and you're not paying up for a subscription. But if you still want customs, you can still order them through this premium Snap, which is different than my Muggle Snap, my normal Snap, pretty much. Not really a Muggle Snap. And this dude was messaging me through my burlesque profile multiple fucking times. This man was like, I want to buy this. I want this. I want this. And it was very uncomfortable from the start, but I'm like, I want money, whatever. This man sounds like he's willing to pay for, like, quite a bit. So the first time he messages me, it was pretty consistent, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can absolutely, like, make this content for you. It's not that big of a deal. And then I ended up making the content, and I'm like, send me the money and I can send you the content. And, like, it was like fucking radio silence. And I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. And then I messaged him again, and I'm like, hey, are you going to send the money? Otherwise, I'm going to go sell this content to someone else, because I will recycle content, because I'm not going to go and make a whole nother
30 of the same videos.
Yeah, I'm like, fuck. I'm like, that's too tiring. I'm like, I don't have that type of time. 30 of the same videos, 6 minutes each. I mean, look at that. I don't have 3 hours. I'm like, I'll recycle them. But I do give the people if they really want it to be exclusive, I'll maybe charge you a little extra, but I'll do it. Like, it's specifically yours if you really, really want it to. Like, some people want me to say their name, and I charge extra for that, because I find that fucking weird. So, but to each their own. That's what get people off. That's what people get off to. So this dude ghosted me, and I was like, well, that's annoying, because it went by a couple of days, and I was like, well, that's a nuisance. So I, like, sold it to somebody else, deleted it, time went by, pops up in my DMs again. talking all this shit. He's like, I want to see your ass. I want to see your asshole. I'm like, I am having an awful time. And I'm like, no hello, no good morning, just...
No, how's your day?
No, how's your day?
Just let me see your asshole.
That, and it was, I think it was something like, hey, sexy baby. And I'm like, I fucking, fuck. I'm like, I fucking can't. I'm like, okay. I'm like, hello. And he's just like, he's like, how you been doing? Like, I really want to see your body. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to make anything until you send me the money, and then I'll give you 24-hour processing period, and I can send the content, whatever. Same shit. The same, like, back and forth. But if I didn't message him back, he would message me, like, fucking, like, 5-8 times. And I'm like, eventually I just blocked him. Like, after that interaction, I was like, I can't do this. This is the most annoying motherfucker. And then this man found my Muggle page. That's the one shitty thing about sex work, is if people really, really, really want to find you, like, unless you're pretty thorough about it, you have to keep it very separate, especially if you show your face, which unfortunately a lot of people prefer you to show your face, and that makes more money and things like that. And he somehow found my Muggle page and started harassing me through that. And I was like, I don't go on it that much. So at first I ignored it, but eventually it was just like it was a nuisance. So I was like, okay, so I had to block him on that too. So it's just an example of men who come into my DMs that I find ridiculously annoying. And I'm like, I fucking can't. But that's just
part of it.
Yeah, it's like a weird invisible contract you sign with sex work. Like, you have to be able to have good boundaries. You have to understand that, like, to get into the 1% of OnlyFans and really make a fuck ton of money like advertised, it takes a lot of work. It takes so much advertisement, and there's people who don't, like, really post anything incredibly lewd. Like, some people are just in lingerie, some people just show their titties, and of course there's men on OnlyFans and things like that, like, that are, like, pretty popular, but they've had OnlyFans for, like, a really long time, and they post consistently. Like, if you look, they have, like, over hundreds of posts, over thousands of likes, because they're consistent.
And you build up that
rapport.
Yeah,
and it's like, people, I feel like there's, like, a stigma where people think it's a really quick cash grab. And of course there's, like, people, like, one of the big things is people from high school that knew me. I don't even, never fucking talked. Never talked to them. Or barely interacted with them. Or people that I was, like, actually good friends with. And of course I don't interact with them too much anymore. Who will, like, slide into my DMs and they're like, yo, so.
Oh no.
And they start that conversation. And I'm like, listen, that's fine. You can go to the OnlyFans and do it that way if you want. Like, this was so funny. So I had someone within the last OnlyFans update, the last pop-up. It's like a pop-up store for me.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, I'm like an OnlyFans pop-up store.
It's like Spirit Halloween. Like, it's just there, and then it's gone.
And then it's gone. And I'm like, you can subscribe if you want, but I'm not going to be posting until I'm posting it about it again on Instagram. So you know it's active if I'm posting it to Instagram. Like, that's it. I think I have, like, 2 fans right now. I had, like, 20, like, a month ago, and I was like, I don't got time. I'm tired. Like, I had a whole idea for a cow shoot that I was gonna do, and I just, like, ended up not doing it. Like, but I'm willing to accept that is the consequences of me not being consistent. But anyway, so I had someone, like, I had people DMing me on the OnlyFans. I was like, whatever. So when I knew, I'm like, okay, I'm falling off with OnlyFans again. I need to just transfer people to the premium. They can pay $5. They can order customs. I check it, like, every day, or at least every other day. So I get someone that friended me through search, and it was someone I knew that that tried to hit on me long ago, that knew me from high school. We were friends, and I was like, why did you add this? And you know who I am when you already have me on my fucking normal Snap. Like, what was the point of you paying $5? You could just DM me through my normal Snapchat and order a custom. Like, this was a whole process, and now I'm just like, this is just weird. Like, this is just a weird experience. And he just left me on red. He didn't say anything.
Wow.
So,
people,
you're really strange, and that happens a lot. You'd be so shocked the amount of people, I guess, if you start an OnlyFans, that people who find you attractive or sexually attracted to you will subscribe for like a month and just to see you naked or whatever you post on there. It's very interesting. I found surprisingly a lot of people. I was like, oh, I'm flattered, but I'm also like, oh.
What is happening?
Pretty much. I'm like, what? What's good morning, sir? Hello? Most of them were men. I was like, as expected, but I was like, this was just a lot more.
Yeah, where did everybody come from?
Yeah, I was like, where was this when I was back in high school? I mean, fuck. I mean, because people, like, confess their, like, undying sexual attraction. They're like, I found you so hot, I want to eat your ass. I'm like,
my God.
okay, that's one thing. People think that just because I have an OnlyFans, it's like, open up the floodgates for unwanted commentary. I'm like, that's not at all what this is. I'm like, you still need to respect me. When we talk in a conversation, you can't just tell me all your, like, subdued sexual desires, like, you want to eat my ass. I'm like, I don't want to fucking hear.
First message, like,
You can tit me, and then you can tell me. Like, that was kind of a rule at one point. I'm like, listen, if you... God, someone sent me, like, a fucking entire essay of shit, and I was like, I'm not reading that. I'm like, you can pay me $5, and then I'll read it. Pay me another $5, and then I'll respond. Because I'm like, I can't... This requires so much energy, because it was, I swear, like, it was like a good 2-3 seconds of scrolling. I was like, how do you write that much? Like, purely, like, someone's imagination of their sexual fantasy. I'm like, sir, go write a novel. I'm like, go off.
Funnel that energy somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm like, go become the New York bestseller. I'm like, this was well written. I'm like, good for you, but, like, holy shit. I was like, mildly impressed and mildly uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I was like, holy crap. Luckily I didn't know them. Or at least I don't think I know them, but that's just how it goes.
That's part of it.
Good God, I fucking can't.